fast and it's so heavy, the water is so heavy that our type ship was the only type of ship that could ford the Congo River because we only had 6-foot draft forward and 12-foot aft, draft aft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was on an LST, one of those that runs up on the beach and the doors open and
Right.
all the stuff comes out. Okay, and we hauled Malayan troops from Singapore, Malaya, and all their vehicles and weapons and all that stuff to the Belgian Congo because they're a member of the UN, and we were chosen by the UN to take all the troops to that conflict in the Belgian Congo. So we didn't fly the American flag, we flew the UN flag on our ship. Anyway, so
That's the river that.
So did you have to wear the little blue helmet?
no.
You didn't have to wear the blue helmet?
No, I didn't have to wear a blue
I
helmet.
don't think
Okay.
they had blue helmets.
And coming back, we stopped at Cape Town, South Africa.
Isn't that the UN with the blue
for R&R.
helmets?
Yeah.
Had a wonderful time in Cape Town. Just absolutely loved it. But at that time, that was in 1960.
Oh, hang on 1 second.
Go
The
ahead.
story's too good. I'm gonna put some music behind it.
No, I'm not
No, this is I'm serious. Don't. I'm not kidding.
Oh, come on.
I've got the perfect soundtrack for it. I know it already.
Uh-oh.
1 second. Yeah, you got that thing going?
Yeah, I got it going.
All right, hang on.
Anyway, we stopped in Cape Town, South Africa for R&R after we had been in the jungles there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the segregation in Cape Town at that time was worse than it was in Birmingham, Alabama.
That was the apartheid, right?
Yes. And we hadn't had mail call for a while because we traveled from Singapore, Malaya, if you can look at the globe, all the way across the Indian Ocean, across the equator twice, went around the Cape and up the coast of Africa and then into the Congo.
It amazes me that you went around the Cape of Good Hope in a flat bottom
Boat.
that is 100 yards long.
Yes, and it was kind of stormy. Here's what happens. Cape Horn,
That's not what
okay,
I want. Sorry.
The Horn of Good Hope.
The tip of Africa.
well, the tip of South America, let me tell you.
South
the
America.
Atlantic
Excuse
and
me.
the Pacific Ocean meet.
Right.
That is the most
Yeah, that's Cape
turbulent
Horn.
water on the globe. When we went around the Cape of Good Hope, it was stormy. Okay, it was wintertime. And we had 2 ships loaded down with all the Marines and vehicles and everything. I mean, the soldiers from Singapore. The Singapore soldiers were expert jungle fighters. That's why they sent them to the jungles in Cape Town, or in the Belgian Congo, because they're expert jungle fighters. They'd send a division of them up on the border of Laos and Vietnam, because Singapore, Malaya,
This is it.
is the border of Malaya borders Laos and Vietnam, and they'd send a division up there and they'd fight for 6 or 8 months, and then they'd come home and send another division up there, and they'd just go back and forth. So they're expert jungle fighters. Anyway, when I was talking about going around the Horn, we had 2 ships in a line, and this one would go down and it would disappear. And then it would come back up, and then this one would go down and disappear. Just like
It's
that.
like being in the back car of a
Oh,
roller coaster.
Pardon?
Like being in the back car of a roller coaster.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
How sick were you?
Oh, I never got sick. Never got sick.
Just drank a lot of beer.
Never. No, didn't. Well, we drank beer.
When you went
Oh, we
up the
did.
river.
And we'd go. Well, here's what happened. When the jungle comes right down into the water, okay, and so when you can't see anything, then all of a sudden and big islands, clumps of land break off and come floating down the river, and you got to be careful of those big clumps of land that are coming down. They hit your ship and hit your boat and stuff, so you got to be careful of that. Anyway, you're going up and you're dodging those, and you're not going very fast because the river's coming down and you're trying to go up, and so we're just moving along real slow. And all of a sudden you come around the curve and there's a little village. It's got one dirt road going up like this and a bunch of little buildings like this. That's Matadi. That's where we're offloading. There were 2 towns, major little villages of the conflict, Matadi and Leopoldville. Matati was below the falls and Leopoldville was above the falls, so we couldn't go to Leopoldville, we had to stay in Matati. Anyway, so when we got there and we started offloading all the equipment and everything and the weapons and vehicles and so on, we had to run safety patrol. So they put the little boats in, okay, and we'd run. The city is like right here, and it's going up, and here's the dock, right here, the dock, okay. The jungle starts right here. Here's the water, and all you can see is it on either side comes right down into the water. That's it. And this clearing is here. They've got a dock here and this little dirt road that winds up. So anyway, we're in boats, and there's one aft and one forward, and we're running river patrol for snipers and that might attack us while we're offloading. And we got a couple cases of beer right here, and a 50-gallon drum of fuel, and then a couple cases of beer while we're running river patrol. You know? And what we do is we start drinking beer, and we unload the 50 calibers. You can't see anything, okay, but you can hear them, and they shoot at us. But they can't shoot, and we don't give a shit. So I'm 20 years old, so I don't give a shit. Anyway, you just take your machine gun, your 50 calibers, and all the ammo you got, and you just spray the jungles, and shit and leaves and sticks and shit are just flying everywhere. And they're screaming and hollering in their language, and we're screaming and hollering in our language, and we're laughing like hell. And we just and so we unload our 50 calibers, and we've been drinking our beer, and so we're out of ammo, so we're going back to the ship and let somebody else do that. So anyway, they told us, do not leave the ship. Well, a couple of assholes decide they're going to leave the ship, okay? Like at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're going to sneak off the ship and go uptown and see what's happening. Well, they do. Well, about daylight, here they come running like this. They're shooting at them. Pow, pow. You can see the bullets hitting in the dirt. Pow, pow. They're just running like hell back to the ship. Anyway, we went to the Belgian Congo.
You never the bomb.
No, when we went
You'll never wear a life vest like this again.
when we went to Cape Town,
I don't think I'm in.
we got mail.
I have no idea.
I have no idea
We
either.
got mail in Cape Town, and I got a letter from my mom that my brother was in the hospital, seriously in the hospital. So I needed to find a telephone to call and see how he was doing. So a buddy of mine, he and I went uptown, and we're walking around trying to find the telephone company. And we meet this little black kid on the street, and I stopped him and asked him directions to the telephone company, and he just froze. Just stood there, and he'd stare right at you, and just freeze, and he didn't move. His eyes didn't blink, nothing. So what in the hell's wrong with this kid? I just asked him where the telephone company was. Didn't move. So we went on, and we walked in a bar later on to ask him for directions, and I asked the bartender about why. I said, well, I asked a little kid out there, and he said, was he black? I said, yeah. He said, no. He said, they won't talk to you. They're scared to death to talk to white people. And he said, you shouldn't talk to them because they'll get in trouble if you talk to them. It was that bad. And the black sailors on our ship had to go to the black section of town, and of course we went to the white section, and they couldn't go uptown with us. The blacks had to go where the blacks were.
Even though they're Americans.
Pardon?
Even though they were Americans.
Even though they're Americans, it didn't make any difference. Wow. It was bad.
What year was this?
1960.
South Africa. Yeah, you think the segregation in the South was bad?
Yeah.
It was.
Apartheid. It was.
But apartheid was horrible.
Apartheid was even worse.
Randy Newman's got a really good
And
song.
then we were in the